Hey, I'm the Dark Tangent. We're at DEFCON 22. I'm with Deviant Ollam and Major Max Payne. No. So why don't you tell us, you've been doing a lot of elevator hacking. And some people did that years ago, but you guys have taken it to a whole nother level. And they're wearing elevator shirts from
ThyssenKrupp.
ThyssenKrupp. It's not how it's spelled. But you're not employees there, so what's the story?
Definitely not, no.
Okay, so they had a publicly facing company store where if you were just searching online for ThyssenKrupp t-shirt, you would find they were offering it for sale. It was clearly geared towards employees, but the promotional company that they had apparently outsourced it to was not discriminating.
They'd ship anywhere.
Yeah. Right. That has
been changed.
That has been changed. So you've got like 50 shirts still stashed somewhere just in case.
Oh, yeah. Quantity not to be disclosed.
So not to talk about it for too long, but so the history of the elevator here, right? Didn't Otis invented them?
Otis made them safe. Otis made them what they are today.
Okay, so they iterated it to like the Ford motor of.
Exactly, that's a good analogy.
And so then where do these guys fit in the food chain?
They're just one of the other major brands. You have Montgomery Kone, you have Thyssen, you have, who's the other big one in the US?
Schindler.
Schindler, right, Schindler Jobs.
So now you decide, I'm going to target elevators, I want to learn all about them, I want to, physical access control is your thing. So you're taking that and you're now applying it to elevators.
Yeah.
So where do you start? How's your journey on this go?
Well, my journey came when he saw me giving a talk about big buildings, getting around places like hotels, and Babak and I from our company, the Core Group, we do a lot of physical pen test. So we found it's really useful if you can take control of an elevator to get places that maybe the building owner didn't think you could go.
Yeah, so you're trying to not be a dick and lock out an elevator, you're trying to get to a floor
that you're not supposed to get to.
Right.
And then Howard saw the talk and he was like, oh my God, I work in this industry doesn't take security seriously, I think you're the only one talking about this, and we met up that way.
Yeah, we met online.
Oh yeah. DEFCONmatch.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then now you're in the industry, what do you make of it when you see somebody letting all your secrets out?
Well, I think one of the issues is that the industry knows about security, but for the most part they don't push it hard enough, and they may also be pushing myths. One of the things I see a lot is just improperly implemented security. So people will go through the trouble of trying to achieve a secure elevator when it's sort of
And when you say secure elevator, I think it's either sometimes you see a prox card pass, or it's the bypass keys.
Key switches.
So is there any other security I'm missing there, or is that pretty much the two?
Some other obscure ones, like
yeah.
MCE and JIT. Have you ever pressed a button for a floor and the button just blinked at you and then went out?
No.
That's waiting for you to key in a PIN code using other buttons. For
On the
car.
Oh, very cool. No, the best elevator I ever had in my first office for DEF CON, we had such an old elevator, you'd push in the button, and if you want a floor cancel, you just pull that button back out.
Wow.
And so you could just cancel the floor. I can't uncancel a floor today, and it's 100 years later.
There actually are modes called call cancel, where if you press the button a second time, it will cancel.
Yeah, that's so useful.
There's other modes where if you press too many hall calls and floor calls all at once, it thinks you're a jick, and it'll just dump them all.
Reset them. Yeah, that's awesome. And this is a side question, not a hacking question, but does any elevator in America have the door close button hooked up so it actually closes when you press the button?
Well, it doesn't have to close when it's on automatic operation. That's really up to the building owner. The answer to that question is yes, there are working door close buttons.
Yeah, I've just never found them in this country. Other countries, yes. Here, no.
Well, the other thing is that you might not have ever experienced, but the door close button has to be wired in for firefighters' emergency operation. It's a fundamental part of manual.
So they just stick such a large delay in there, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the door dwell is usually unpredictable in a lot of different jobs.
Yeah.
And some people think that they're actually accelerating it. Maybe they are, maybe they're not.
Right.
But yeah, independent mode, fire service mode, that's when you're using the door open and door close.
Are there any other modes?
There's lots of them.
Oh, there are. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Do tell.
Well, we have an hour for this later.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Earthquake mode, seismic riot mode.
But I mean, really, what you're going to expect somebody to run in there and turn 50 keys, and now we're in an earthquake.
A lot of them are automated.
No. So there's sensors somewhere in the building which tell the elevators what mode to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
So for fire operation, for example, the fire alarm is tied into the elevator controller.
Right.
So that if there's a heat or smoke condition that's within close proximity to the elevator
Forms
bank,
the elevator
to go into fire mode.
So when you're talking about hacking these elevators, are you going after those systems, or you're purely on the physical?
It's a mix of both. I mean, physical access and using the mechanical key switches are ways to trip those modes when they wouldn't normally be engaged.
Right. So, well, I guess your gear's over there, but I was just hoping you could show the quantity of keys and talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah?
Yeah, go for it. Okay, so these guys have been assembling the encyclopedia of access keys. And as it turns out, as we're going to talk about, well, maybe show them yours too. There's not as many as you think.
Oh, the pen testing version of this. So you talk about that.
Yeah. See, so look at this. There's like a good 15 pounds of keys. Doesn't it feel like I'm in the Matrix and I'm the key maker? It's like you are the key maker, right?
Yeah, I guess so. So, first of all, I'll just say this is for show. A lot of these systems are mastered.
Right.
So, practically speaking, I wouldn't just carry this around. This is just to
Well,
demonstrate.
it'd rip your pants right off your... Yeah.
Yes, I have actually. When I was growing this still,
Yeah.
it started just as something I would carry around for me, on a day-to-day basis. And I attach it right here.
Right,
and I have about 4 or 5 pairs where that one loop for the belt was just ripped off.
I was going to say then as chiropractors, like you got to counterbalance them on the side. But
So,
then you can distill these down to essentially...
If I want a job, I don't need keys that turn on and off the lights and the fan. I'm not doing a 23B mobile disco in an elevator.
Right.
I am just trying to engage independent service or do some floor cutouts.
So to get past those floors. Yeah.
These are the most common cutout keys and independent service keys. This will get me, what would you think, Howard, like 75% of some jobs?
I forgot what you actually did
Is
here.
this in America, you're saying?
This is mostly North America specific. I think that plus this ring is easily over 3/4 of all the elevators.
Oh, this is all super popular fixtures and keys.
This is a little more obscure, then we get into very obscure. We broke it out this way because if people who are pen testers want to get some elevator keys, they don't need to buy that key ring. They don't need to invest in that key ring. We won't sell you everything on that key ring. Like the fire service keys, I might like you very much. I'm not selling you these unless you've had our elevator training. Like, you shouldn't be doing anything with fire service unless you know what you're doing.
Right. Now, is any of this stuff controlled by legislation or any laws? Like, if you have that in your back pocket, are they going to come after you?
It's controlled by code, right?
Well, actually, one specific state does regulate their fire service keys and make it a criminal offense to possess it. The state of Florida recently, after the NFPA 2012 standards came out, they adopted NFPA 2012 and decided to apply it to their elevator code. And now they are using Medico keys to operate their fire service.
Better keys.
They're definitely better keys, but
they treat them as though no one will ever have them.
Right.
Right.
We may or may not
so
be
there's one
dropping
key
the Medico key codes in our talk today.
Right, for a key cutter. Or,
Yeah.
Right on. So, so then what's the future? So where are you guys going with this? So how do you see this progressing?
Well, the industry sees the future as like make everything TCP/IP enabled, right?
It's not all prox cards and we're safe.
Right.
Because there's probably a requirement for a mechanical operated switch that's electrically connected, not digitally. Or
so you'll never get away from the old mechanical key switches
because of the safety or
because of safety and how it has to operate. But you can't just throw everything on the internet and be like, all right, we'll manage it remotely. So that's towards the end of our talk. We're going to talk about, yes, you can have monitoring, but it doesn't have to be the Internet of Things for your bloody elevator.
Right. Now, one last question. It's a physical question. I go to movies, and we all like movies. Somebody always gets trapped in an elevator. Somebody always climbs up and pushes the ceiling panel and watches the monster come in, or the Terminator, or something. Like, can you actually get out of an elevator?
You can get on top of an elevator if it's not locked.
I mean, but is there always an access panel on the top?
There usually is.
So even if it's mirrored and it doesn't look like it's there, if I'm trapped there forever and I get on somebody's shoulders, I can actually get out.
No, not necessarily.
Really.
No. They're usually locked from the outside. So an elevator mechanic would have to be in the hoistway to come down to the top of the car, open it for you. But
and
sometimes
even if
they're
you got
broken.
up there, there's nothing up there. Where are you gonna go?
Right.
There's no ladders in the hoistway. There's nothing like you see in movies like that.
Okay.
You're on top of a car. Now you're just in the dark and grubby conditions, still stuck where you were.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any keys? Those really long, narrow, U-shaped keys that you use to open up the elevator door from the outside.
Of course.
What's the deal with that?
Drop keys.
Yes.
Right.
They open the door, like you said.
They open the
Right. But totally not useful for anything security related.
Oh.
Not exactly.
There's something in the talk that my mom absolutely hated.
So you might open it up and get to some cables and do some network tomfoolery?
You can do a lot of intense things, and we would never advocate it because it's wicked dangerous.
Okay.
But you'll see, if you're in the talk, us riding to a secure floor from the car top.
Oh, dude. See, that's totally James Bond right there.
It is.
Definitely.
Very cool. Right on. Well, hey, thanks for all your work.
Thanks for
and
having us.
good luck with your talk.
Thanks for coming by and do DEFCON every year, man.
Right on. Okay, see you guys.